This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Good morning for Cheryl. I believe everyone else is in India today. So this is episode 2 of what we just started. It's just a beginning. Calling it the Great Debate. Keeping it fortnightly. That's the attempt. Let's see how do we do. We may change it to weekly or monthly or quarterly. We'll see. Session being recorded, so the recording will be available to you all later. Name is Daman Dev Sood. I'm the moderator today. We have a good panel with a shortcoming. Ratna, Transformation Director, Risk Advisory EY, Managing Committee Member of the Global BCI WIR, Women in Resilience, BCM, Information Security, Data Privacy, ... long list. Couldn't be with us. There was some personal emergency. She had to attend that. Sunil Thakur, Boston Consulting Group, 17 years, risk management, BCM, OSHA's ... has paid time for us. Great. Cheryl Griffith, CBCP, 15 plus years, passionate to raise BC awareness in the Caribbean, preparing organizations for unexpected ... Partha Sathi Yuvraj, Senior GRC, Security, BCM and Transformation Professional, has joined us. We have a judge. He was struggling with the registration. Arvi, have you been able to come in? Honorary FBCI, MBCP, BCM and Resilience Expert, and former President of BCI India Chapter. So the topic today we have kept, because we have one short panelist, so quickly I'm going to ask if anyone from the audience dares to be on the panel. The stage is open. We are invoking BCM. Anyone from the participants from the audience today, if someone wants to be on the panel. Don't worry that you were not in the panel earlier and you are not prepared, because no one is prepared. I didn't give anyone any clue. I've been calling this is fun come learn session, and very simple, easy. Yes, I'll be asking some questions. Experienced people sitting here should be easy. And we will play. This is what I'm saying. This is playground. So anyone wants to raise hand quickly to fill in the gap? Do we have RV? Once again, quick check. We had requested. Yes, RV is there. RV is the judge for the evening. And once again, don't worry. There is no judging really. We are sharing our experiences, our views. So at the end, I'll request him as a judge to give his views as well as kind of consolidation, a recap of the session. So let's start. The topic we have kept today is the 6 R's of BCM. May appear to be going back to basics, which was actually the topic for the first debate we had about a fortnight ago. But no one is perfect in this world. I know, you know, I may know, you may know. It is possible that someone else benefits from our experience. So this is what we are saying, okay? As I said, almost no one is prepared, right? I have a few slides based on which I start interaction. Once again, I hope you can see my slides. The topic is 6 R's. So before we go to BCM, we see there are 6 R's, many 6 R's in the world going around. So if you talk of waste management and or sustainability, the first R stands for reduce, reuse, repair, recycle, rot, and refuse. Another look at sustainability, 6 R's with a bit different. Rethink, refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and repair. So far, so good. I'm not defining these because that's not the topic. We'll be spending more time on BCM, which is the topic for us. But these appear to be so easy, simple, meaningful. If we think of cloud migration, again, there are 6 R's: retiring, retailing, rehosting, replatforming, refactoring, and re-architecting. So this appears to be a little technical, especially to a person like me who doesn't understand ITDR or IT. I'm a non-technical person. I'm a management systems guy. But still, I can make a little bit of these. 6 hours of purchasing. To me, this was new. So I keep saying no one is perfect in this world. I'm a lifelong learner myself. Learning is forever coming to me. So while attempting to do this session, I have learned 6 hours of cloud, I would say, and 6 hours of purchasing. So it says right quality, right quantity, right time, right source, right price, and right place. Again, a person like me who's not a purchasing expert would say these make some meaning to me, easy. And when they come to BCM, confuse, 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 and confuse. So the
instead of 6 R's, there are 6 C's. Huh?
Say that again, please.
Instead of 6 R's, there are 6 C's.
There are 6 C's. A great author in the world had said, avoiding some C's, like criticize, condemn, complain, etc. These C's actually are good to me. These confusions, because these force me or ask me to think, and that's what we are attempting to do today.
So maybe we can restate that as confused to the power of 6.
Okay. So question for the participants, please do not think at all. Wait for my question, and then you will have to type in the chat box. I'm monitoring the chat box. What are the 6 R's of BCM? Only 30 seconds available. You just need to type the word. One, for example, we may say recover, then only recover. No definition. Please don't do that. Your time starts now. Audience only, not the panelists. What are the 6 R's of BCM? Your fingers. There's some exercise to be done. Balaji says DR, but it starts with D. I'm looking for R's and 6 R's. Anyone else? "30 seconds gone." Then the same question passes on to the panelists, please. Again, don't think, no definition required. Just type in 6 R's of BCM. Recovery, Balaji had said, right? Okay, continue, please. Now this is open to all. So panelists also, please.
And the panelist has to type it in. We can't say it out loud.
Okay. So Sunil types reduce response. Kapil says return to normal. Partha has
Resume.
said all 6. Reduce, respond, recover, resume, restore, and return.
Return.
Okay. Yes, Cheryl, continue, please. So quickly, I'll repeat. Partha has written all 6. You all can have a look at the chat box. I'm just reading it to keep it easy for the benefit of everyone. Reduce, respond, recover, resume, restore, and return. Thank you very much. A request to the panelists. Please help me to get these in the right order. The 6 R's. I have represented like this. Please help me to put number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll go off the presentation mode so that I'm able to update this. Wherever panelists, so you have to discuss, agree. I need to have only one response when you have the agreement on number 1.
It should be reduced.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
It's one voice. Panelists, do you agree?
Reduce is number 1 for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 voices.
Other panelists.
I have tendency to go with this. Okay. Number 2.
Respond.
All agreed?
Yes, number 2 can be response.
Okay. Tell me number 3, please.
Recover.
That's one voice. So it seems I put the right order so far. If we go with 3 also. Number 3 is recover.
Yes, recover.
Agreement. All right.
Yes.
It seems it's easy tonight for me. Number 4.
Resume.
If you all agree so easily, then where is the debate?
Daman, I'm holding it for later. I'm holding
Alright.
it for later.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
You have that right. Number 4.
I would say
Resume.
restore.
Who is that?
Sunil.
Neil says restore is number 4. So there is a contention now. First time it seems. Other panelists, please. Cheryl, Partha.
I had resume as number 4.
4 is resume.
So it seems it's 2-1. It seems the score is 2-1 in favor of
Yes.
resume. Okay, I make it number 4. Next, please. The last one I will tell you. Don't worry. I need help only up to 5.
So
Well,
5
restore.
5 is restore.
5 is restore.
Restore.
I'm sorry.
The real game is between 4 and 5.
The real game is between 4 and 5. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
Let's play that game. Then, as I said, I'm a good guy, very helpful. Number 6, I will tell you.
Daman, I have a slightly different view. Satish here.
Yes, Satish.
Uh,
You can
I
switch on
would
camera
say-
if you wish.
yeah, I'm in dark, in fact. I'm
And for
outside.
that,
Okay.
I'll
what I'm
switch
saying-
off my screen also. Yes, please.
What I'm saying is that respond is the first in the order
Okay.
because reduce is also a kind of respond. Okay, when we respond, we do everything. So within that, reducing the impact is also one of the responses. It
Okay.
depends on the kind of disaster that we have. Based on that, the reduction of the impact could be the first step. So whatever you do, either you continue or do whatever, or even you reduce the impact, it's a response basically.
Okay.
It's a response. The
Okay.
first thing is always to be response. And there are then attributes of response then. So reduce also is a attribute of response.
So we hear you, Satish. The difficulty you will leave us with is if we have 6, then what is the order? Reduce or respond? Respond or reduce?
No, I have a completely different opinion on all the 6 R's. Okay, so
Okay.
we'll come to that later on. I'm just talking within in the order of the first or 2 attributes that have been discussed now.
Okay.
So for 2 only, I'd say respond is the first, reduce is the next,
Okay.
and I'll come to later about all the 6.
Good.
I have a different view
Yes,
in
please.
reduce. Reduce, I look at reduce as you are looking at the beginning where you put things in place to reduce the impact in order for you to respond. That's my perspective on it. that reduce would be the first step, because it helps you to put measures in place in order to lessen the impact of the event.
Okay, good.
My
In the
opinion,
interest of time, I may be showing hand. We need to go on. Yes, Sunil, go ahead, please. Sunil, you had something.
yeah, sure. So what I was saying, Cheryl, I agree with your point. So reduce is the reducing the impact. Yeah, right. You know, it is like pre-planning, pre-disaster. If we don't reduce, then we don't reach to the stage of respond as well. Right. So because if we don't reduce the impact, then we don't reach at the stage of respond. Then it will be like, you know, a complete disaster. Yeah.
Good. Hold on, please. Now we have covered only first two. 1, 2. We have had some discussions. My intention was not to invite the judge yet, but RV, would you like to give quick view, please?
Yeah, okay. So, in fact, if it has to go way beyond the time when I learned, I believe Dheeraj helped me in terms of putting this in order, how to remember. So, specifically, he was probably bringing out a point of rest.
Don't go
rest.
beyond first two, please, right? Do not open all the cards yet.
Fine. Okay, then fine. So I think reduce and respond is fine.
Reduce and respond is fine. If you ask me,
Yeah,
I will
reduce.
also
Why?
say,
Because is reduce is right from the proactive controls that you have to put it for a risk. When you identify a risk, you need to have a control in place by expecting the resources to be available and there's no impact. So that is where the reduce comes in first. Of course, it comes in first, but it prolongs across the different stages also.
okay.
Let me come to that later, but reduce is the first one.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm sharing the screen quickly once again. What about number 3? To me, it appears reduce is, maybe someone will say it's towards risk management. We are attempting to reduce first. We are attempting to control that it doesn't happen to me. So impact should be controlled, but it may still happen. So I come to respond, right? Whatever. Fire has taken place. I need to respond to that. Appears to be logical. What about number 3? With panelists first, before we go to the audience. Kapil has raised hand. Okay, Kapil will invite you. First, the view from the panelists, please.
So recover is something, beyond the point wherein, response is not up to the mark. Then, we need to look for an alternate from where, the impacted services has to be recovered on priority.
Okay. Kapil, Cheryl, your views.
Actually, so sorry, I didn't mean to interject here. It was I actually wanted to ask a question here regarding when we were debating between point number 1 and point number 2. Will it be safe to say that reduce and respond, can they go parallelly instead of prioritizing like as 1, 2, and 3?
Who would like to take that?
Can I?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So Kapil, the reduce is nothing but, your preparation readiness, irrespective of any event. What controls you would like to have it in place for the critical services that is being identified by you. It doesn't have any, relevance, but as part of, the BCM, relevance to incident. I just wanted to complete that statement. So irrespective of the incident, reduce means that you are trying to look at the strategies, ways and means, how you want to be prepared to actually, face any eventuality in case it occurs. So that's a altogether different game. But when you look at it, response starts when you start facing a real time. Okay, and beyond a point, you are unable to respond. Your response is not meeting the incident impact of the incident, then you look at it the recover phase. So that's what I know. Maybe I just wanted to share it with you.
Thank you very much. Cheryl.
My view on the recovery is implementing any strategies that you would have prepared prior, like if you need to move to an alternative site or any business activities that you think are disruptive, what are critical that we would need to implement. We need to recover those. So that's how I look at the recovery aspect of it. Implementing any strategies that we would have prepared prior to the event.
Okay. Yes. So I take this way. I attempted to reduce, but it still happened. So I need to respond. Sometimes I may say respond if some of us have this view that it's if not responded well, then recovery. I'm saying perhaps it's initial recovery. If you take an example, it may not be applicable to all situations, but easily for fire. Fire took place, I need to respond, I evacuated. So this has brought interruption in my services. So I need to ensure continuity. Oh, there is no C. There were 6 C's in the previous slide. Now it's continuity, right? The topic is we all live for BCM, but now the term is recover. Responded, evacuated, but it has brought some interruption to my business. So I need to ensure the continuity or the recovery. So the third R comes into picture. RV, if you want to hold on your views, it's okay. Otherwise, we can take a minute.
You are going to decide that, man. Do I speak now or I have to hold on?
I'm saying if you want to speak, you could speak. Yes.
Okay. So I think I agree with the point made by Partha and also the other person, I forgot the name. So the recovery is something related to based on strategy. The dependency that you have for a resumption, it may be a minimum level or 100%.
So you have
dependency of what
resumption. You are adding confusion for us. We were still at recovery.
No. The point is very clear. What I'm saying is the next step, whatever that comes in, you're getting ready with the recovery part on that. Whatever that need to be done, that's how the 3 comes in. The dependency on resources, which is required for the next step. And same way for any of those related technology, which is required for the next step. That is what is recover it addresses.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Maybe just to add, Daman, the example what you gave, right? Fire. So prevention of fire, having a fire extinguisher or maybe something, that is what we refer it as a reduced part. It's not still happening. When it happens, response is I need to use whatever controls I have implemented, like using a fire extinguisher to douse the fire. That is my response. But still fire is not dousable. Then I will evacuate and then try to recover from a different site or in a different place.
Good.
Then it becomes a recovery.
Good. Thank you very much.
Can I add to this?
And who's that? Sorry.
Satish.
Yes, Satish.
Yeah. So if you look at the frameworks or the standards which are related to BCM, or typically we talk about 22301 also, there are only 3 clear processes defined. So we're talking of 6 R's here. But if you look at the processes which standard defines, there are only 3 processes.
Which standard are you talking about, Satish?
22301.
Okay.
22301.
All right.
So it talks about the incident response. That's number 1. Number 2, it talks about continuity. And number 3, it talks about recovery. Okay. So if you look at from that perspective, then first is the initial response of to that particular incident. And if it is contained, that is fine. If it is not contained, then we have a continuity arrangement, whatever it may be. The third one, if you look at the clause there, is the recovery. Recovery is for, if you there is hardly 1 or 2 sentences there. If recovery is to the extent recovering from the damage, whatever damage has happened, what is the impacts have happened, those have to be recovered. You might continue at alternate place. You might do have some other outsourcing you may have, but you have to recover from the original from the original place.
Right.
So from the damage to recover from the damage, there's a recovery process. There is a salvaging, there's the insurance, there are other things, reinstallation, all those things are there. Those are the part of the recovery. So after the damage has happened to a particular site or particular equipment or particular process,
Right.
recovery of that should be happening. That is essentially a recovery.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. And the audience, please hold on. I will show you the standard also. What about the next one? We were at number 4 now. Resume. And first to the panelists, please. They have the right to speak first. So recover 3. Number 3 is either continuity or recovery, because there was some interruption in my service. I have attended to. Now ensure continuity according to the strategies, the arrangements that had in plan. So what is resume? How do we resume? Where do I resume from? When do I resume? What does resume mean?
So resume is nothing but the recovered, that is the impacted service from alternate site to the extent to know what it is needed to continue the operations. Still the primary site is going through that impact.
Okay.
So Sunil here,
Yes,
so to me,
please.
yeah, to me, the resume is to, is the resumption of your business functions, processes, and, operation as soon as the systems, that are gradually made available. So to me, that is resume.
So is that BAU? You have recovered.
No.
You ensured continuity of the basic minimum. I believe everyone is in agreement with that, with me on that. That BCM is not BAU. Only the pre-identified processes to pre-agreed levels in pre-agreed timeframes. That's what we would do through BCM or BCM plan.
Yeah, exactly. And the term that MBCO, the minimum business continuity objective. So we are achieving that. So, that is
So,
what
Sunil, as understanding from you, then my primary went down. Taking one example, every case will not be like that. Primary went down, I went to secondary. I am doing basic minimum from there. All right.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then primary has been reinstated. Right.
Correct.
I need to
Correct.
start
Correct.
using it once again. So this is a resume you are saying, which means
Yeah.
I have become BAU now.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Anyone else? Third one, Cheryl.
Yes, I agree. I agree with my colleagues. That is
Okay.
resuming those operations and business functions. If you had gone to an alternate site, that you would start to resume those operations there, and making sure that you do the critical ones first and then resume the non-critical ones after. So yes, I do agree with that.
If you say that, then you're putting me in difficult situation with respect to number 5 and number 6. If you are already BAU, then what are we doing in the restore and return? Views from the panelists first.
So restore is something, I try to revamp the non-critical
If you want to talk on restore, then you first have to disagree with the panel that the previous one was not BAU.
Yes.
Otherwise, the work is over. Other 2 hours are not required. You disagree?
I disagree with that understanding, because resume is not BAU. Restore is something, which
so what is
you try
resume?
to-
So what is resume according to you? Then we'll have to understand
Resume-
that first.
That's what. So from resume, if you ask me what is resume, resuming the impacted services at the alternate site.
But that was recovery.
No, recovery is to a minimum level.
All
Then
right.
I need to move towards the next level, right?
So you mean to say from secondary, you are becoming 100%?
Yeah.
Okay. Other panelists, any views on that? From secondary, I'm becoming 100%, which means primary and secondary are exact replica need to be.
No. There is a difference. Only the impacted services recovered at alternate site becomes.
Okay. So out of 100, 25 are prioritized I started doing
And
those from the
bad.
alternate side, but at level of 25%, though that 25% need to be brought up to 100%. So it's still 25% processes only, but to full capacity from secondary side. It seems the judge has something to add.
Yeah. So specifically from the resumption perspective, let us not get confused whether it is going to be from alternate side or the same side. It could be from the same side also sometimes. In the sense, depending upon the nature of impact, you can still continue with the minimum level and the resume part.
Which are you talking about?
Resume. I'm talking about resume one,
Okay,
the one
so
which we
number
are talking
4.
about.
Number 4, resume.
Yeah, number 4, resume. So resume, as I was always saying, need not have to be always the reduced level. Sometimes it could be 100% also, not for all the processes, but for the few processes which is required. That becomes a kind of a restore and return also if it is in the primer facility. So not to confuse, resume is at a level that you have decided that you will do it as per the overall plan. It could be 25%, 50%, 100%, whatever be it. Can be in the primary side itself or can be in the alternate side also.
The primary went
So
down.
that's a, come again, Daman?
Primary went down. That's the case we are taking up.
Fine. If the primary is completely down, yes, alternate side is the one that you're looking at. But if it's just going to be a kind of a network error, which can be switched over and only it supports 25% of the connection. So I'm just talking about a scenario.
Okay.
So we need to understand based on scenario, if the primary is completely down, then the alternate side is something makes sense. And also there, a minimum level is something, a resumption always brings it down to a minimum level, but in few cases, it can be a full level also.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Just for information, another good friend, old friend has joined us from Canada. Alex, welcome. And I see Vedi has raised hand very quickly. Your view.
Yeah, so I agree with RV. Somewhat I will put it this way. It will be an acceptable level for resuming the services. Acceptable level can be at a minimum level or it can even be at 100% level. So for a particular service, it need not be for all the services. Each and every service will have its own specified levels. So resuming is resuming at an acceptable level agreed with the business.
But that was recover. I agree.
So resuming,
recover your process to 25% in 2 hours.
Yeah. So and then you resume the services. You recover the services to an acceptable level and resume it with the acceptable level. Continue with that. You provide your services.
That was.
Yeah. I think that point has to be highlighted here. We are talking about we should not be getting into primary and secondary sites. Okay, I think that's going to get confusing things. We should be talking only in terms of services. So all 6 R's are in respect of services only, irrespective of whether it's in primary or alternate site or like that.
Yeah, it can be services if it is a service, or it can be your infrastructure or application. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Vedi.
No, it can be a service, or if it is going to be an impacted application or impacted infrastructure. So that is what So better to call it as whatever is the service. We can call it from a service standpoint so that it makes a very clear link with the business.
So service went down. I need to ensure the continuity of the service to the basic minimum.
Yes, you're resuming to the minimum level, which can be
that is recovery. That is recovery.
Yeah.
Service went down. I want to ensure continuity to the basic minimum, which is recovery. So what is resumption? What's the difference from recovery to resumption?
Can I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. So the point, what I was mentioning earlier also, the recovery part, which we are talking about, that's where I tried to link it up with the resumption part. So resumption is if your overall services minimum level is not up to 100% level, then whatever that you're resuming is just resuming to the level of expectation through the contract or whatever that you have decided. Then
That
it doesn't
that's
become a recovery.
isn't it? But
It
that's
doesn't become recovery. No, that is what I'm saying. The recovery part is in terms of enabling that resumption. So if I have to probably bring in a server to a particular level and the network connectivity to that level, that part of a dependency, the strategy that you have, whether within the same location or an alternate location, recovering that resources is the recovery part. The resumption is the actual business delivery that you do.
Okay.
This
So
is
I
what
think
we need to understand.
I take this way. I had agreed with you to recover 25% of your service in 2 hours, right? After 2 hours, perhaps I've just started. Maybe it was 1%, 5%, 10%. By the time I become 25%, that's the resumption portion.
Right.
Now I'm at the agreement that I made with you. All right. Okay. Well, there could be a little more to this, which you have not caught. Maybe hold on. We'll do that next time, not today. Number 5, restore and return. Do we need these? Are these of any use? I'll show the screen once.
Yes, I would say that because if the facility was damaged, someone used the example earlier of the fire. So if the facility is damaged, then we need to get to restoring that facility back to its original state, if possible. And also, what about technology in terms of recovery? If the technology, you need to bring that back up. If you had backup, if you were using backups, need to have all those restored as well. So that's how I would my take on the restore part of it.
Okay, thank you very much. Sunil or Partha, your views first before we go to the part.
My take is on the restore
Partha,
part.
is your camera blurred on purpose? It was
suddenly it has gone.
It was good in the beginning, but now it's blurred for the last 10 minutes or so.
I don't know. Sorry for that.
Maybe close it and open again, possibly. Maybe mute your camera and open again. Try it out.
I think he has used that blurred function.
For the background, but it's entirely blurred.
Okay.
Yes, continue.
So restore is nothing but my understanding is it's just to restore the non-critical ones as well as the damaged infrastructure or maybe the whatever it is at the primary site. That's what we mean by restore.
Okay. Okay. So quickly, and then just looking at the watch, I'll move a bit faster now. Sunil, your views, if any, restore.
Yes, so I agreed with Shail. So apart from that, I would also feel that restore is also about, because we have moved from moved from the resume part. So before going to declare normalcy, what we need to do, we need to resync the data, resync all the systems, so that we can go to the next stage, which is return.
Good. Only 1 minute for next one to each panelist. What is the last one? The return, number 6. I'm saying only 1 minute because there's a little more that I want to touch upon in the session. What is number 6 then? The return.
So let me go first. So the return is nothing but returning the primary site to the normal operations. It means recovery of non-critical versus critical from alternate site all put together. It becomes something like a BAU. That's what return to normal.
Okay.
We call it as return.
Thanks. Sharon?
I will go next.
Yes, Sunil. Yes, please.
Yeah. So on return is like declaring normalcy.
Okay.
That as it was pre-disaster. So declaring normalcy is the return for me, where all all processes, be it critical, non-critical, or all are functioning.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Thanks, Sharon.
Yes, everything is back to normal. Your technology is up. Your work is back in progress. You have communicated to your clients and your customers. So yes, everything is back to normal.
All right. Okay. And quickly, perhaps we will never be able to come to normal. Perhaps I'm saying, right? Again, we can have hours debate around that. But return, the word it seems, if we had primary and secondary, and if we had gone to secondary, then perhaps we are coming back, not even non-critical processes, and to be running to 100% capacity. So this return can be from primary or can be secondary also. Perhaps we will take a decision, we don't want to recover primary. It is gutted. So we bring up everything to full capacity from secondary only. So it is possible.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
That return
The primary
normalcy,
is-
that normalcy, yes, RV. Normalcy may happen from secondary also, that's possible.
Yes,
But
yes,
if that
possible.
happens, that's what I'm saying. Perhaps if primary is gutted and we are saying we will recover full from secondary, then it's not normal according to me. Yes, RV, go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, see that part of it, when you look at it, coming back to normalcy, BAU, when I remember the DRI 6 hours, the final return was talking about a permanent site. It could be a new site, or it could be the original site, or the BAU can be in your secondary site. As you said, that becomes a primary. Yes, it is. So it says a permanent site for a BAU.
Right.
So as like a normal, that's what is the last return part of it that conveys.
Great. Thank you very much. In the interest of time, please allow me to go fast. I want to show a few slides.
Only one point.
Yes,
Only
please.
one point. I just want to add what
Yes,
Ali
yes.
said. It might be new normal also, right?
Okay.
The earlier primary site, I would have operated 100%. Now organization difference 80%. That is also returned.
Like work from home is new normal, right? Questionably,
Yes.
arguably. Thank you very much. I want to show a few slides quickly. What does the standard say? Business continuity plan, and this is from ISO 22300, last year version, which is the current version, 2021. Documented information that guides.
Your screen is black.
I'm sorry?
The screen is black. Screen is black. I don't know. Is it only for me or?
No, maybe for you. I was able to see actually.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry for that.
Business continuity plan.
Your camera has become okay now, Partha.
Documented information that guides an organization to respond to a disruption and resume, recover, and restore. The standard is covering 4 hours, not 6, but 4 for sure. To respond to a disruption and resume, recover, and restore the delivery of products and services consistent with its business continuity objectives. I also want to show a little more. So I'm saying 4 are covered, which for respond, which is the second one in the diagram. Resume, which is 4th one. Recover, which was 3rd, and restore, which is 5th. Okay. So what about this one then? Again, from the same standard. Business continuity. What is business continuity? Capability of an organization to continue the delivery of products and services within acceptable timeframes at predefined capacity during a disruption. Based on this, I always have been claiming BCM is not BAU. Through the BCM plan, I cannot plan normalcy BAU. I don't mean to say that I would be blind to BAU, to normalcy, but that would be an additional plan. Looking at what has happened, let me do the basic minimum first. Even if I'm able to do that, by the way, I'm a great guy and we are a great organization, my view, right? And then
what is the earlier one? The first definition that you showed, which had 4 hours.
Business continuity plan. Business continuity plan.
Yeah, plan. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes. So documented.
The difference is the plan. Difference is the plan here. The business
Yes.
continuity in the second one, and the other one is
continuity
plan.
is activity. Plan is the document.
Correct. Yeah.
Using the plan, I ensure the continuity.
Right.
All right. Then I picked up very small, but I'll read it quickly. All right. Few portions only. This is the diagram that we are looking at. Teams to respond. So this is 8.4, which is the business continuity plan in the standard ISO 22301-2019 version, which means we come to which place? The respond is covered. Disruption and to assist the organization with response and recovery. So recovery also is taken care of. Continue. We see so many clauses, sub-clauses. Come to the bottom, please. When we come 8.4.5 is recovery. So it seems it's a little more. That's why some organizations, I believe, have business continuity plan and business recovery plan separately. Maybe that's the reason. I don't mind having both into the same document. To me, it's okay. The organization at the bottom shall have documented processes to restore and return. So restore, return also taken care of, required, I mean to say, according to standard also. But it still seems reduce is missing. To me, it was a risk management portion, but in BCM also we do risk assessment. Again, debate why RA, why not BCM, RN in BCM. There is no resume, it seems required in the standard according to the standard. That's why some confusions continue, but we need to hold, we need to wait. I said thanks, but no thanks yet. Views quickly, 1 minute each, 2 minutes each panelist first, then we have time for audience also, and then last 5 minutes for the judge to give the final verdict. Panelists.
I'll go first.
Great. Thank you very much.
This was a great exercise. I remember doing BCP back in 2000, and we did start out using the 6 R's. Today we don't do those anymore. We just use the 4. So
Right.
it was great to go back into history and come forward to the future. And what I would say though is that given the climate that we are now in, that there's no uncertainty. So the best we can do is to actually respond and recover in timeframes that are suitable to the organization. So that's my takeaway for today.
Great. Thank you very much. Sunil, Partha. Okay, go ahead, Partha.
So it is in fact indeed a very good session and refreshing one to talk about the 6 R's. What I started learning in 2007 2009, right, when we planned for BS2 5999.
Right.
And then later on started working on this 22301, all those things, BCI, DRI, all those things. And it is really nice. I don't know, happy to have the participants' views also, who has a different perspectives. I don't know, people were actually coming with a lot of implicit inputs. So I'm very, very happy and honored to be part of this.
Great.
I don't know, I would like to continue this journey, whatever it happens, to learn as well as share whatever I know. So you're definitely helpful for all those who want to actually have this career.
Partha, sorry, some disturbance. We are not able to get you clearly now. Maybe connection challenge. So we'll go ahead, please.
Do for the society. Because BCM is not only for organizations, it has to be for people also. That's what I always believe.
Thank you very much. So we'll go ahead, please.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So first of all, thank you for this forum, and it's lovely to reconnecting with the business continuity community. So for me, when Daman asked that this is the debate that we are going to have on 6 R's. So to me, it was like going back to the basic.
Yes.
And sometimes what happens, sometimes we forget the basic and we apply some different strategies. I don't know from what it comes, but it is very easy if we start from the basic. Then and it is the formula that I still apply whenever I'm in any confusion, or what to do or not to do, and it is pretty easy when you start from the basics. So
I like it.
Thank you for that, and thank you all the panelists and RV.
Great, thank you very much. Very for audience, 30 seconds each, please, if you want to.
Great session. Luckily I was able to join today. Thanks a lot, Daman and everyone. Good to connect with all good, all friends after a long time. In this forum, it's been a while. Good, in discussion. Thank you, Daman.
Thank you very much, Kapil. 30 seconds.
This was quite an informative session. It's as one of our colleagues just said, it's revisiting the past and learning again or refreshing the memory. It's really helpful. It's really I really appreciate this session.
Great.
And to come and speak on a forum with people of your experiences.
Right.
I'm very humbled. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Balaji.
Yes, Daman. It's really means I am attending. This is the second session for me with you, and it's always a great learning.
Thank you.
Such a vast experience you have, and the way you conduct the sessions, it's really very nice. Means it's a completely different sort of thing. Totally.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Satish.
you very much.
Thank you. Satish. Final views. Not the verdict. That is for.
No, I understand. Thank you very much, Daman. It's a very informative session as usual. And I think these kind of discussions will help to bring a lot of clarity at the fundamentals, and that is the basics from where we start to implement everything. So it's good to have these kind of discussions, and I'm bringing clarity in all the thoughts. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much. Alex, will you be able to speak? You have typed something.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a great chat. Thank you everyone for contributing. I really appreciate it and love hearing what other people have to say, and nice to see a couple of you again, actually. I just wanted to add for my R's, I know these are taken from ISO 22301, but I see a couple of other R's: requirements. What are the DR requirements? We can have all the plans we want, but what are the actual requirements that we need, from business, etc. I would add review as you're going along, what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And when things are quote unquote over, a lessons learned review. And finally, recognition.
All right.
Depending on when things are happening, you could have people working through weekends, holidays, through the night. So recognize that fact.
Great. Thanks, Alex. If you don't mind, I'll issue a new diagram with these 3 additional R's.
Okay.
with credit to you. Thank you very much. Well,
thank you, everyone.
RV, unfortunately, only 3 or 4 minutes left for you. So while we have said judge, I'm repeating, there is no judging really, but we respect one senior person to come as judge, his views, and maybe a recap of the session. That's what it is. No one is winning, no one is losing.
I totally agree with you, Taman. It's not just only senior in terms of the number of years that we have covered, but every session is a learning for everybody. That's what I feel. So the point is, when I started rather with the 6 R's, it was the first thing with DRI, how to handle that. And there I started to mention that Dheeraj gave us very clear the thing on how to remember this. So it's the rest. So you don't go wrong in terms of the sequencing part. So this is something that we can remember. So the other point that you mentioned in terms of risk assessment or risk, nothing is talked about by a reduce within the 8.4 is because in the standard, it talks about it in 3 different sections. One is in 4.1 itself from the organization overall risk. It talks about it in 6.1 again from operational risk. And then finally, in terms of the actual part of within the 8 also, 8.2, 8.1, whatever that comes in.
Right.
So that's where it doesn't talk about it within the plan separately. Even in organizations, they don't need to have a risk plan within the BC plan. Risk management, risk treatment can be out of the BC plan. But the rest of the response, that's where Satish was also mentioning, it starts with response, not reduce. But the reduce is something we need to understand the entire cycle. That is what it starts with the reduce, which is predominantly the risk assessment and whatever that you do in terms of even the impact analysis and whatever that you think that it could happen later, and try to have something put in place upfront and thinking about a risk, how it could impact. Right. And that's where the reduce part that comes in. Right. Then the response is immediate response, how you can contain and not to allow it as a big incident. That is the second one as a response. recover the time when we learned, and it is predominantly it was talking about the IT, because people were missing out. They were knowing only the IT part at that point in time. So getting your services ready is dependent on IT, the technology recovery.
Right.
That is where the recover was coming in to enable the resumption of function, whatever level that you want to do.
Right.
That's what is recover and resume. And the resume can be minimum level or 100%. Dependent on that, if it is a minimum level, you need to restore back to 100%. That's what is the restore part that was coming in. Then if restore has been done in the original site itself or wherever, still 100% running, but it's not a permanent site, that is where the return part of it can. So the entire thing starts with 6R. The basics doesn't change. We just forget about the standard. Standard 25999 did not take the 6 Rs at all. But when the ISO 22301 came in, it picked up the 6 Rs again back into this. Because BS 25999 is based on the BCA good practice guidelines and all those that was picked up, and the DRI doesn't come into that. When it became an ISO standard, DRI part came in as a 6R. So this is where it comes in. And to the point of Satish, where it mentioned about 8.4 as the response, recover, and whatever they talked about, there's 2 lines, but that is very important in terms of BCP, not just planning only to the minimum level. Your definition that you mentioned, just to the agreed level, yes, it's just a continuity. But coming back to normalcy is also important one. That's where we are now struggling during the pandemic. How do we come back? What is the hybrid model? All those. So that's very important. That's the part of it. If we understand, I think once we implement it as the way we want it, and the other 3-4 Rs that Alex was mentioning, finally, if we do it the right way, we will also have one more R reward for the organization. R is also going to be there on that.
Right.
So I stop here.
Thank you very much. We all must clap for all of you, the panelists, as well as the participants. This was proof of concept, I would say. We have done only 2 episodes. I need to take a view. Shall we continue?
Yes, Raman, I wanted to probably address that. I missed out that part. I mean, it's been very good that you started off this initiative.
Okay.
And I always seconded that last time we spoke also, and I said we need to do it.
Right.
And I think we should fix a particular day. This is what it is, and try to bring more participants also. We cannot force it, but let them see the kind of a feedback and this thing that we can point out in your LinkedIn post. We can share it so that we can bring in more people. It's just for the purpose of learning. It's not that we are doing and showing it off, but for many community people who can probably learn. It's a good initiative. Thanks for that.
Thank you very much. Then next fortnight, the topic has been decided. I will be talking about NDA and force majeure clause. Attempt will be that we keep changing the panelists and the judges, right? So I'll show your request, interest, I mean to say. We can have only 4 maximum in a panel and 1 judge. This is what the limitation, because we are keeping it to 1 hour. May I request all to switch on the cameras, please? I would like to take a photograph, which with your permission will be published, and you all will become the global celebrity. Satish, it seems I'm seeing you after a number of years. You have changed a lot. One hand is still up. Partha, your camera not working, is it?
Yeah, it looks like.
Balaji, would you like to switch on?
Yeah, it's disabled as a part of our organizational.
All right. Okay. Understood. Understood. So give me the best smiles, please. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you very much. This will be shared on LinkedIn. Thank you very much. See you next fortnight. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Aman.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.